Alex Mason wiped his sweaty palms against his diplomatic uniform before entering the massive chamber of the Galactic Council. Even after 6 months as Earth's junior representative, he still felt out of place among the diverse alien species that governed interstellar affairs. "The human delegation may now approach," announced the towering Draxian official, his 4 eyes narrowing with barely concealed disdain. Alex walked forward, keeping his gaze steady despite the whispers and chuckles that rippled through the chamber. Humans were the newest addition to the galactic community, and most species viewed them as primitive curiosities at best. "Ambassador Mason," said Chancellor Vex, her translucent skin pulsing with bioluminescent patterns, "Earth wishes to propose trade routes through Sector 7. How ambitious." Several council members laughed openly. A reptilian diplomat leaned to his neighbor. "Their ships can barely achieve stable warp. They would disintegrate in the quantum eddies of Sector 7. Alex took a deep breath. "With respect, Chancellor, Earth does not propose to navigate Sector 7 with our current technology. We propose a collaborative mission, sharing our unique biological adaptability in exchange for technical assistance." The chamber fell silent. Collaboration between species was rare in the fiercely competitive galactic politics. "Adaptability," sneered Zorak, the Draxian Empire's chief diplomat. "What could your simplistic biology possibly offer?" Alex activated the holographic display. "Humans can withstand radiation levels that would kill most species in this room. Our bodies constantly regenerate. We can survive in a wider range of temperatures and pressures than any founding council race." He paused. "The mineral deposits in Sector 7 remain untapped precisely because no current species can endure the conditions long enough to establish mining operations." Chancellor Vex's skin changed to a curious yellow. "Continue." For the next 10 minutes, Alex outlined his proposal. Human workers would partner with Velaran engineers to create a new type of mining facility. The Velarans looked skeptical until Alex showed test results from Earth laboratories. "Impossible," said the Velaran representative, Nera. Her silver eyes narrowed. "No species could repair cellular damage at that rate." "We call it healing," Alex replied with a slight smile. "It's quite ordinary for us." As the council debated, Alex noticed the political currents flowing through the room. The Draxians opposed anything that might strengthen Earth's position. The Velarans were interested but cautious. Smaller species seemed intrigued by the possibility of breaking the resource monopolies of the dominant empires. Suddenly, warning alarms blared. A holographic display showed a diplomatic vessel under attack near the council borders. "Krull pirates," growled Zorak. "They dare attack during a council session." Chancellor Vex looked grim. "The ship carries representatives from 5 worlds. If it's destroyed, it could trigger multiple conflicts." While the council argued about jurisdiction and protocol, Alex studied the tactical display. He noticed something odd about the attack pattern. "Chancellor," he interrupted, breaking protocol. The room fell silent at his audacity. "Those aren't Krull ships. The attack formation is wrong. I believe this is a false flag operation." The chamber erupted in outrage. Alex persisted, pointing out telltale signs that the supposed pirate vessels were actually military craft using disguised energy signatures. To everyone's shock, Chancellor Vex ordered a deeper scan. The results confirmed Alex's suspicion. The attackers were using stolen identification codes. As emergency protocols neutralized the threat, Alex felt the council's perception of him shifting. Some members looked impressed, others disturbed. Zorak glared with undisguised hatred, while Nera studied him with new interest. Chancellor Vex approached him after the session. "You observe what others miss, human. That is unexpected." Her skin pulsed with complex patterns. "I will be watching your career with interest." Alex nodded respectfully, aware that he had earned both valuable allies and dangerous enemies today. For the first time since arriving, he felt a sense of possibility. Perhaps humans did have a place among the stars after all. 3 months after the pirate incident, Alex found himself at the center of an unprecedented galactic crisis. The sudden death of Chancellor Vex had thrown the Galactic Council into chaos. Her body was found in her private chambers, her bioluminescent skin faded to a dull gray. The council hall hummed with tension as representatives from 100 worlds gathered for the emergency session. Alex sat with the human delegation, observing the power plays unfolding around him. "Order. We will have order," shouted the acting chair, an elderly Quarian whose shell rattled with each word. "The succession protocols must be followed." Alex listened carefully as the ancient laws were recited. According to traditions dating back 10,000 years, when a chancellor died in office, representatives from all recognized sentient species could nominate candidates for the throne. "The final selection will occur after the 3 trials," explained the Quarian. "Each candidate must face the trial of knowledge, the trial of judgment, and the trial of endurance." The major powers immediately put forward their candidates. The militaristic Draxians nominated Zorak, who stood tall and proud. The technological Velerans chose their elder scientist. The mysterious Elorians selected a being whose form shifted constantly. As the nominations continued, a tall blue-skinned diplomat from the Krell Dominion pointed toward the human section. "What about them? Shouldn't the newcomers participate in our ancient customs?" Laughter rippled through the chamber. Several delegates chittered in amusement. "Yes, let's see the humans try," called another voice. "I nominate the human diplomat, Alex Mason." More laughter followed. Alex recognized the mockery for what it was, a political move to demonstrate human inadequacy on the galactic stage. The acting chair turned to Alex. "The human has been nominated. Does he accept or decline?" All eyes turned to him. The expected response was a polite decline, acknowledging humanity's junior status. Alex saw his superior, Ambassador Wilson, subtly shaking his head in mourning. But in that moment, Alex saw something else too. He noticed how the smaller species watched him with hidden hope. Many were tired of the same powerful empires controlling the council for centuries. "I accept the nomination," Alex said clearly. The chamber erupted. Delegates shouted in multiple languages while others laughed harder. Ambassador Wilson looked horrified. Zorak stepped forward, his voice cutting through the noise. "This is absurd. Humans have barely mastered interstellar travel. They know nothing of galactic history or politics. The laws make no distinction between old and new species," countered Nera, the Veleran diplomat who had worked with Alex after his mining proposal. "If the human wishes to embarrass himself, that is his right." After the session, Ambassador Wilson confronted Alex. "What were you thinking? This makes Earth look ridiculous. Or it makes us look confident." Alex replied, "No one expects me to win, but just by participating, we gain recognition." Later that evening, Alex was studying the rules of succession when his door chimed. He opened it to find Nera standing there. "You surprised everyone today," she said, entering his quarters without invitation. "Most think you're a fool." "And what do you think?" Alex asked. "I think you're either very clever or very stupid," she replied. "But I'm curious to see which it is." She handed him a data crystal, the histories of the previous succession trials. "You'll need this." "Why help me?" Alex asked suspiciously. "The Velerans believe in knowledge for all," she said. "And perhaps," she hesitated, "perhaps the council needs something different." After she left, Alex examined the crystal. It contained information about the brutal nature of the trials, challenges that had killed candidates in the past. No wonder everyone had laughed at his acceptance. Yet as he studied the records, Alex began to see patterns and possibilities. Humans might lack advanced technology and extended lifespans, but they had survived on Earth through adaptability and resourcefulness. The trials would begin in 1 week. Alex had that long to prepare for a challenge no human had ever faced before. The first trial took place in the ancient Hall of Wisdom, a vast chamber lined with crystalline data archives, containing the collected knowledge of the galaxy. 7 candidates stood before the council, with Alex the only human among them. The trial of knowledge tests not just what you know, but how you think, announced the keeper of trials, a being so old its species was no longer recognizable. Each candidate will enter the knowledge sphere and face the same question. You have 1 hour to provide your answer. Alex watched as Zorak entered first. The Draxian emerged 50 minutes later. Looking smug, one by one, the other candidates took their turns. Some emerged confident, others troubled. When Alex's turn came, he stepped into the sphere, a translucent bubble that sealed around him. Suddenly, his mind filled with a single question. The Scythian star system will collapse in exactly 30 years. It contains 3 inhabited worlds with unique species found nowhere else. Resources allow for saving only 1 world. Which do you choose and why? Alex's heart sank. The question demanded extensive astronomical and biological knowledge he simply didn't possess. The alien candidates had centuries of learning to draw upon, while he had only the basic briefings provided to Earth diplomats. He tried to recall anything about the Scythian system, but found nothing. Panic began to rise in his chest as precious minutes ticked away. Then he remembered something Nera had told him. The trials test who you are, not just what you know. Alex took a deep breath and approached the problem differently. He requested data about each world's population, technological level, and unique biological characteristics. The sphere provided these immediately. Instead of making an immediate decision, Alex created a framework for evaluation. He analyzed which species had the best chance of surviving relocation, which had developed the most resilient cultural systems, and which possessed unique biological adaptations that might benefit the galaxy. When his hour ended, Alex presented not just a choice but a methodology, a decision-making framework that could be applied to similar situations in the future. He stepped out of the sphere, uncertain how his approach would be judged. The other candidates stared at him, with expressions ranging from contempt to curiosity. The keeper consulted the sphere's readings, then announced the results. 3 candidates had failed by selecting worlds based on economic value alone. 2 others chose correctly according to standard council protocols. Zorak had provided an impressively detailed analysis of the 3 worlds before making his selection. And the human, the keeper said, turning to Alex, provided no single correct answer. Laughter began to ripple through the audience. Instead, continued the keeper, silencing the room, he created a new evaluation system that considers factors our protocols overlooked. His approach would save the most critical biological and cultural diversity, while establishing a framework for future crises. The chamber fell silent. The human passes to the second trial, the keeper announced, as do candidates Zorak and Nera. Only 3 of the 7 had advanced. Alex's surprise was mirrored on the faces of many council members. Later, in the preparation chamber, Zorak confronted Alex. Enjoy your small victory, human. The trial of judgment will expose your primitive moral thinking. After the Draxian stormed away, Nora approached. Your solution was unexpected. I couldn't match your knowledge, so I had to try something different, Alex admitted. That's precisely why you succeeded, she said. The Council has used the same decision frameworks for millennia. You showed us a blind spot. She lowered her voice. But be careful. Zorak has powerful allies who don't appreciate being challenged. That night, Alex found his quarters had been searched. A warning message flashed on his tablet. Withdraw while you can. The threat only strengthened his resolve. Tomorrow would bring the trial of judgment, testing his ethical reasoning against beings who had contemplated morality for centuries. Alex knew the odds were against him, but for the first time, he allowed himself to believe he might actually have a chance. The trial of judgment had proven even more difficult than Alex expected. For 6 hours, he had debated complex ethical scenarios against Zorak and Nera. Scenarios involving species he barely understood and cultural contexts he struggled to grasp. Yet somehow his straightforward human approaches to justice and fairness had impressed the council enough to advance him to the final trial. Now, 3 days later, Alex walked through the busy diplomatic corridor and noticed something strange. Aliens were watching him, not with the usual dismissive glances, but with interest, even respect. "Human, a moment, please," called a small green being with 4 arms. Alex recognized him as a representative from one of the minor species, the Fury. "Ambassador Kells." Alex greeted him. "How can I help you?" "I wanted to tell you that your solution to the refugee crisis scenario in the trial was illuminating." The Fury's large eyes blinked rapidly. "My people have suffered similar displacement. The major powers always prioritize political convenience, but you spoke of dignity and cultural preservation first." "It seemed the right approach," Alex said simply. "Indeed. Many of us think so." Kells glanced around nervously. "There are 14 minor species who feel this way. We meet tonight to discuss the upcoming vote. Perhaps you would join us." Before Alex could respond, a cold voice interrupted. "Making friends with the insignificant races, human." Zorak approached with 2 Draxian guards. Kells quickly excused himself, scurrying away. "The lesser species have no real voice in the council," Zorak said. "Their support means nothing." Alex smiled politely. "Every species has a vote, according to the charter." "Votes can be influenced," Zorak replied, "as can trial outcomes. You've survived 2 trials through luck. The trial of endurance will break you, physically and mentally." He leaned closer. "Humans are so fragile, with your short lives and soft bodies." After Zorak departed, Alex found Nera waiting for him around the corner. "He's worried," she said. "You've become a symbol for the smaller species. They've been dominated by the major powers for generations." "I never intended to become a symbol," Alex replied. "Intentions matter less than perceptions," Nera said. "Come with me. There's something you should see." She led him to a public viewing hall where news broadcasts from across the galaxy played on massive screens. To his shock, Earth was featured prominently. Images of humans working, building, and overcoming challenges filled the displays. A commentator's voice explained, "The human candidate's unexpected success has sparked interest in this young species. Despite their primitive technology, humans show remarkable adaptability and resilience. Their homeworld's history is filled with examples of overcoming seemingly impossible odds." Nera pointed to other screens showing debates about the succession. "The narrative is changing. You're no longer just a joke. You're becoming a genuine contender." That night, Alex attended the meeting of minor species. Representatives from 14 worlds shared their frustrations with the current system and their hopes for change. Many had researched human history and were fascinated by Earth's diverse cultures and rapid development. "Your species faces problems directly," said a crystalline being from a gas giant moon. "You don't spend centuries in philosophical debate before acting. And you learn from your mistakes," added another. "The major powers never admit error." By the end of the night, Alex had gained not just supporters but allies. They offered insights into the final trial of endurance, a grueling physical and mental challenge that had broken many candidates before. As Alex returned to his quarters, an explosion rocked the diplomatic sector. Security forces rushed past him toward the minor species meeting hall. He ran back to find the entrance in ruins. "Is anyone hurt?" he asked a guard. "No casualties," the guard replied. The room emptied 10 minutes before the blast. Nera found him surveying the damage. "This wasn't an accident," she said quietly. "Someone doesn't want you uniting the minor species." Alex nodded grimly. "They're getting desperate. And dangerous," Nera added. "The trial of endurance begins tomorrow. Be careful, Alex. You're no longer just a curiosity. You've become a threat." Dawn broke over the ancient arena where the trial of endurance would take place. Thousands of spectators from across the galaxy filled the stands, their voices creating a low roar that echoed across the stone floor. Alex stood at one entrance, wearing the simple white garment provided to all candidates. Across the arena, Zorak stretched his powerful limbs. The Draxian stood nearly 8 feet tall, his scaled body rippling with muscles evolved for a high-gravity homeworld. Between them, Nera looked calm and composed, her silver skin reflecting the morning light. The Keeper of Trials raised his staff. Silence fell instantly. The trial of endurance has 3 phases, the ancient being announced. First, the test of physical limits. Second, the test of environmental adaptation. Third, the test of will. Only one candidate will remain standing at the end. Alex's mouth went dry. He had trained hard for this moment, but human biology had clear disadvantages against species that had evolved in harsher environments. "Begin," called the Keeper. The first test started immediately. The arena floor split open, revealing a series of increasingly heavy objects that candidates had to lift and carry across a marked line. Alex managed the early weights easily enough, but as they increased, he began to struggle. Zorak laughed as he effortlessly hoisted weights that made Alex's muscles scream. "Your species is so weak," he taunted. But Alex noticed something. While Zorak focused on brute strength, he wasted energy with unnecessary movements. Alex carefully studied the shape and balance of each weight, finding the optimal lifting position that required the least effort. When they reached weights that seemed impossible for a human to lift, Alex surprised everyone by using leverage and momentum instead of pure strength. He rolled the massive block onto its edge, then carefully walked it forward using controlled movements. Spectators murmured in surprise. The human was still in the competition. For the second phase, the remaining candidates were led to sealed chambers where they would face extreme environmental conditions. Alex's chamber began to heat rapidly while the air thinned and dried. "Desert conditions," he muttered, recognizing the challenge. His training on Earth had included survival courses in various climates, but nothing this extreme. As sweat poured from his body, Alex tore strips from his garment, soaking them with his own saliva and wrapping them around his head and wrists to cool key blood vessels. When the chamber doors reopened after 2 hours, all 3 candidates emerged alive, though clearly stressed. Several council members looked surprised to see the human still standing. "The final phase tests not your body, but your will," announced the Keeper. Each candidate must face their deepest fear. They were led to 3 crystalline pods. As Alex entered his, the world around him seemed to dissolve. He found himself floating in space, completely alone. Earth appeared in the distance, but it was burning, dying. A voice whispered that he had failed, that humanity would be forgotten, that everything his species had built would disappear into cosmic dust. The isolation was overwhelming. Minutes stretched into what felt like hours. Alex felt his resolve weakening, his mind beginning to fragment. Then he remembered something from his training: human connection. Even alone, humans carried their connections with others. He focused on the faces of those who believed in him, his Earth colleagues, the minor species representatives, even Nera with her reluctant respect. "I am not alone," he whispered, "and neither is humanity." The vision began to waver. The false Earth stopped burning. Alex pushed back against the illusion with every ounce of mental strength. When the pods finally opened, Alex stumbled out, exhausted but conscious. Across from him, Nera also emerged, looking drained but composed. The central pod remained closed. When it finally opened, Zorak lay inside, curled into a fetal position, his eyes open but unseeing. "The Draxian has failed," declared the Keeper. The human and the Velaran advanced to the final vote. The crowd erupted, half in outrage, half in celebration. Alex caught glimpses of the minor species representatives cheering wildly. As attendants carried Zorak away, Nera approached Alex. "What did you see in there?" she asked quietly. "The end of everything I care about," he answered honestly. She nodded. "And yet you endured." For the first time, she extended her hand in the human gesture of respect she had learned from him. Perhaps your species has more strength than we realized. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council had never been so crowded. Representatives from every recognized species packed the chamber, their diverse forms creating a living tapestry of galactic life. The vote for the new chancellor would take place in just 1 hour. Alex paced nervously in the preparation room. Against all odds, he had survived the 3 trials and now stood as one of only 2 final candidates. His opponent, Nara of the Velerans, was respected throughout the galaxy for her scientific achievements and diplomatic skill. "The minor species delegation is here to see you," announced his aide. Kells entered with representatives from 13 other worlds. Their expressions were grim. "What's wrong?" Alex asked. "The Draxians are offering technology exchanges and defense pacts to any who vote against you," Kells explained, "and threatening trade sanctions against those who support you. They can't accept losing to a human," added a reptilian delegate. Alex wasn't surprised. "And what about the major powers?" "Divided," said Kells. "Some see you as a refreshing change. Others fear what your victory would mean for the established order." After they left, Ambassador Wilson arrived with news from Earth. "The entire planet is watching, Alex. Whatever happens today, you've already made history." A soft chime indicated 5 minutes until the session began. Alex straightened his formal attire, a combination of traditional Earth diplomatic dress and elements that honored the Council's customs. As he entered the chamber, he saw Nara already at her podium. She nodded respectfully. Despite being competitors, they had developed a genuine mutual respect. The acting chair called the session to order. "Today we select a new chancellor. Both candidates have passed the 3 trials and stand as equals before the council. Before the vote, each may address the assembly." Nara spoke first. Her speech was eloquent and measured, emphasizing her centuries of experience and deep knowledge of council protocols. She promised stability and steady progress under her leadership. When Alex's turn came, he approached the central platform, feeling the weight of countless alien eyes upon him. He had prepared a formal speech, but looking out at the assembly, he decided on a different approach. "When I first arrived at this council," he began, "many of you laughed. You saw humans as primitive, as barely worthy of notice. I understood why. Our technology is young. Our civilization has not yet celebrated its first 10,000 years. We have much to learn." He paused, making eye contact with delegates from various species. "But youth has advantages. Humans question what others take for granted. We see possibilities where older civilizations see only established patterns. We adapt quickly because we must. Our short lives don't allow for centuries of contemplation." The chamber had grown completely silent. "I stand before you not claiming to be the wisest or the strongest candidate. But I offer something different, a perspective untethered from ancient rivalries and traditional power structures. I see a council where all voices matter, not just the loudest." Alex gestured toward the sections where minor species sat. Every species in this chamber evolved to survive unique challenges. Each developed different strengths. True wisdom comes not from domination, but from combining these strengths. Not from speaking, but from listening. As he concluded, Alex noticed something unexpected. Representatives from major powers leaning forward with interest. "I don't ask for your vote because I deserve power. I ask for your vote because I'm willing to share it, because the stars are vast enough for all our dreams if we have the courage to dream together." After both speeches, the voting began. Each species cast a single vote, their choices displayed on the massive tally board. As expected, the major powers split their support between Nara and Alex. The votes from minor species began heavily favoring Alex. Then, halfway through the count, voting suddenly paused. The acting chair announced a technical difficulty with the voting system. Council security officers rushed to investigate. Nara approached Alex during the delay. "Something's wrong," she whispered. "This isn't normal." Before Alex could respond, Kells hurried over. "The Draxians," he said breathlessly. They're attempting to alter the vote counts through the central computer system. When voting resumed 30 minutes later, enhanced security measures were in place. The final tally appeared on the board, triggering gasps throughout the chamber. By a margin of just 3 votes, the human had won. The coronation ceremony took place in the ancient Hall of Ascension, a vast chamber that had witnessed the rise of 27 chancellors over the millennia. Alex stood at the center of the circular platform, dressed in the ceremonial robes that had been hastily altered to fit human proportions. Around him, representatives from every species in the Galactic Council formed concentric circles according to tradition. In the innermost ring stood the high ministers who would serve as his advisors, including Nara, who had graciously accepted his offer to serve as First Minister of Science. "We gather to witness the ascension of Chancellor Alex Mason," intoned the Keeper of Ceremonies, his ancient voice carrying throughout the hall. The 43rd ruler of the Galactic Council, the first of human origin. The Keeper approached with the crown of office, not an actual crown, but a delicate neural interface that would connect the new Chancellor to the vast information networks of the Council. As it settled onto Alex's temples, he gasped as knowledge flooded his consciousness. Star maps, diplomatic protocols, historical records, all instantly accessible. "Rise, Chancellor Mason, guardian of the galactic peace," the Keeper proclaimed. As Alex stood, the assembled delegates bowed in unison, even those who had opposed him. Protocol demanded respect for the office, regardless of personal feelings. All except one. Zorak remained upright, his face twisted with contempt. "This mockery goes too far," he growled. "A primitive ape sitting on the throne that has known the greatest minds of the galaxy." Council security moved toward the Draxian, but Alex raised his hand to stop them. "Ambassador Zorak." Alex said calmly, "Your concerns are noted. The Draxian Empire has contributed much to galactic stability. I hope to work closely with your people in the coming years." Zorak seemed taken aback by the measured response. He had clearly expected anger or embarrassment. After a tense moment, he gave a stiff bow and returned to his delegation. The reception that followed allowed Alex to speak with representatives from across the galaxy. Many approached with genuine curiosity, eager to learn more about the species that had produced such an unexpected leader. "Chancellor," called a voice he recognized. Ambassador Wilson approached with a broad smile. "Earth sends its congratulations. You've made history today." "Thank you, Ambassador," Alex replied formally, aware of the many eyes watching their interaction. "Please convey my gratitude to Earth's government. This position will benefit all humanity." Later, as the reception wound down, Alex found a quiet moment with Nara on one of the council tower's many balconies. The galactic core glowed brilliantly in the night sky above them. "Your first official act as Chancellor?" she asked. Alex smiled. "I'm establishing an innovation commission with representatives from all species, focusing on collaborative problem-solving rather than competitive advantage." "Bold," she commented. "The major powers won't like sharing their technological secrets." "They'll adapt," Alex said, "just as I had to adapt to survive the trials." "And the Draxians?" Nara asked. "Zorak will not forget this humiliation easily. Which is why my second act will be a diplomatic mission to their homeworld." Alex replied. "They need to see that my victory doesn't threaten them. It offers new possibilities for everyone." The next morning, Alex entered the Chancellor's office for the first time. The room had been redesigned overnight to accommodate human biology. The chair adjusted, the environmental controls modified. On his desk sat reports requiring immediate attention: order disputes, resource allocations, scientific expeditions awaiting approval. The responsibilities were overwhelming, but Alex felt ready to face them. A small delegation of minor species representatives requested a brief meeting. Kells stepped forward as their spokesperson. "Chancellor," he said, his voice filled with emotion, "we wanted to thank you. For centuries, our voices were ignored. Now, for the first time, we feel heard." Alex nodded solemnly. The strength of the council lies in its diversity. Every species brings unique perspectives. Under my leadership, all voices will matter. As they left, Alex looked out at the sprawling council complex below his window. He remembered his first day here, when alien diplomats had laughed at the very idea of a human representative. Now they bowed when he entered a room. The galaxy was about to discover that humanity's greatest strength had never been technology or physical power, but something far more profound: the ability to unite different perspectives toward a common goal. Where others saw competition, humans instinctively sought connection. And that, Alex thought as he turned to his first day's work, might be exactly what the galaxy needed most.